I walked in this morning and I was like, okay. I love them. They bring me joy. Well, good morning. It's good to be here with you as we continue. I think there's plenty of, y'all raise your hands if there's open seats next to you. This morning, okay, all right, not everybody at one time. Okay. This morning, as we continue in our Lenten worship series, The Hardest Part, this morning is divine disruption. We get a very interesting text here in the middle of Lent, but I want to tell you a story before we get into the text. It's of one of my best friends. Her name is Elizabeth O'Quinn. She was Elizabeth Frazier when we were young and before we got married, but Elizabeth and I both were at Duke at the same time, but we ended up both moving to Charlotte after we graduated from Duke, and we started to work at the same church. And so I had a ministry where I was doing an after-school program in sort of the inner city projects of Charlotte, and she was going to be the associate youth pastor of the large church in town. She was going to be working under a person who had been the youth pastor for a really long time, so he was going to train her up, and he was also going to train me because he had worked with the inner city ministry for a really long time. So we're two young, like 20-something-year-olds, fresh out of seminary, going to our very first jobs, and we were going to be trained up by this guy who 1 week into us being there got let go. He had done some stuff that he should not have done, and he got let go effective immediately, like his coffee cup was on his desk. And so here we got two young, fresh-faced seminarians taking a whole new program on to themselves and a huge youth group. We're talking 200 youth. And here you've got a young seminarian fresh out of Duke taking on the whole program now. Not the associate, but the whole thing. And so we looked at each other and we were like, we can do this together. We can do this together. I'll help you out with your programming. You can help me out with my programming. We'll figure it out. And so we started working together, and it was a great, great formative years in ministry. I think it taught me a lot of resilience. It taught me also the power of sometimes we think when we do things that are wrong, we think it'll only affect us, and it doesn't. Right? A lot of the times, I just want that to sit sometimes with us. Sometimes we think our little personal things that we do, that we're like, nobody will ever find out about it, and it's not doing anybody any harm. That's not true, right? It can affect a whole lot of people. So I learned a lot during those first couple years, but what was really cool was that Elizabeth, who thought that she was going to go into big church ministry, ended up really helping me out with the inner city ministry, and she was so enamored by what was happening with some of our inner city kids who were really struggling in education. Like, they were way far behind in their reading, not Miles on a 7th grade reading level. They were really behind in their reading, and when they were behind, they would struggle behaviorally at school, right? Because they were acting out, because they were ashamed, they felt guilty, they were disappointed, and so they got into a lot of trouble, and it really touched Elizabeth's heart. It touched mine too, but I knew that I was going to do some sort of ministry related to youth, and yet Elizabeth did not know that that was going to be a part of her life. And she ended up deciding to go work with a program called Teach for America. If you haven't heard about Teach for America, she became a teacher, and she was honestly only in the teaching realm with Teach for America for just a couple of years. They immediately saw her passion to reform education, and she currently serves as the Chief Executive Affairs Officer for Teach for America, North Carolina. She is up in the main. Yeah, it's incredible what she's been able to do. But it all started with just divine disruption. Just us really walking in thinking it was going to be one way. And then a week later, it was completely and totally different. And yet, we just both kept looking at each other and saying yes to the next hard thing. And in saying yes to the next hard thing, God really had a call on both of our lives to continue to go into things that we were not prepared for. That is kind of where we get this morning's scripture from. We've been in the Gospel of Luke, walking through the 40 days of walking with Jesus to the cross, and then all of a sudden this Tuesday, so this is actually the text for Tuesday, not for this morning, but I really wanted to jump to it. It was on my heart, because we normally don't celebrate Annunciation Day in the United Methodist Church, but Tuesday is Annunciation Day. Oh, good, I got some heads nodding. They know what we're talking about. So March 25th is 9 months before December 25th, right? And so we celebrate in the church the Annunciation, Gabriel coming and telling Mary she gonna have a baby, right? And so we sort of mark this moment in the liturgical calendar, but I thought how interesting that this year, this marking of the Annunciation of the birth of Christ to Mary is right smack in the middle of Lent. It doesn't always happen that way. And so I thought there's something there for us this year in 2025 to look at this Annunciation text just right here smack in the middle of our suffering Lenten journey. So let's read it together. We're in Luke's Gospel, chapter 1, starting in verse 26. Hear the good news. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin engaged to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. And he came to her and said, "Greetings, favored one. The Lord is with you." But she was much perplexed by his words and pondered what sort of greeting this might be. The angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great, and he will be called the Son of the Most High. And the Lord God will give to him the throne of his ancestor David. He will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and his kingdom there will be no end." Mary said to the angel, "How can this be, since I am a virgin?" The angel said to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, the child will be born holy, and he will be called Son of God. And now your relative Elizabeth, in her old age, has also conceived a son, and this is the 6th month for her who was said to be barren. For nothing will be impossible with God." Then Mary said, "Here am I, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me according to your word." And the angel departed from her. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. I want us to focus on 3 things from our text today. The first we hear right at the bat of this Annunciation text, and that is that Mary is considered favored by God before she says yes. Mary is said to be favored by God before she ever says yes. I think that's important for us. I think some of us feel like our favor is to be earned from what we do for God, or our favor is to be earned by what we do in this world towards the mission of God. But in this text, Gabriel comes and stands before the young Mary and says, "I got some good news. You are favored." I want to tell you that this morning. I got some good news. You are favored. You are favored. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. I mean, that is good news. And yet, it is also very deeply countercultural. I mean, we don't really favor people in this world until they do something for us, right? I mean, truly, when we think of the people that we give status to or power to or money to or influence to, it's because they have shown us that they are worthy of being favored. They are worthy of the certificate. They are worthy of the trophy. Now, I know here in 2025, we've gotten real fond of the participation trophies. But this is even more than that. God is saying you are favored before you even show up to the game. God has claimed you. And yet there is something about Mary finding out that she is favored. There's a reason Gabriel is letting her know, hey, guess what? You are worthy and you are important to God. And he's doing this because she's been invited, right? She's got an invitation waiting for her to join God in God's work for the world. Do you believe that your call of being favored by God is an invitation? Because it is. You are worthy and you are beloved and you are being invited to be used by God in this world. And I want that to sit in the best, warmest way, like bread pudding on your soul. And I want it to bother you like sandpaper grating your very skin. You are being invited by God because you are favored. The second thing I want to point out from the text this morning is that faith is not passive. It is willing to ask hard questions. You see, Mary doesn't just, I think sometimes we think, oh, precious little Mary, and she's just like, yay, this is great. I'm so glad you came today, Gabriel. But she doesn't, does she? She asks questions. How can this be? How will it go? I'm a virgin, so there's some details that need to be worked out here, right? And yet, we get a very similar text at the beginning of this scripture where Gabriel, the same angel, goes to Zechariah, who is the husband of Elizabeth, right? To tell him that Elizabeth is about to bear a son and that he will go on to be John the Baptist, right? He's got the same sort of news for Zechariah, and Zechariah asks a question too. But what is Zechariah's question? He says these words, how will I know that it is? How will I know that it's actually happened? How will I know that you're telling me the truth? You see, Zechariah is questioning God's very existence, ability, and he's trying to figure out how God's going to make this happen. Mary, though it's a little nuanced, she's not asking, how am I going to know that this has happened? She's asking, how will God do this? But she never questions whether or not she believes God is going to do it. She believes God can do it. She's just asking, I just want to know how it's going to work out. She never questions, why me? I want to say that again. She never questions, you sure you got the right girl? She just says, how will it come to be? I want to know how God is at work in my life. You see, there's a big difference between resisting the call and being stunned by it. You think I can tell you many times in my life where God has called me to do something, and I was like, let's just paper this out. Like, let's just get some crayons and some markers. You want me to go where? With what money? To do what now? But it wasn't a question of whether God had the right person. I was ready to do something with God. I just wanted to know how it was all going to work out. And I wonder if you find yourself this morning in a position where you have been bothered lately. You've been bothered lately about what's going on in the world and your part to play. And instead of asking the question, is there anything for me to do in this? I want you to hear the word yes. Because you are highly favored by God. You are highly favored by God. God has a plan for each and every one of us to play a part in the redemption of the world. What if you reframed your question, not is there any part for me to play, but how? How are you going to do this? Next time you turn on the news, how are you going to do this, God? And where can I come alongside your plan for the world and join you in your mission and ministry? The third, and yet the one that I really want us to hone deep on this morning, point from this text, is that, again, Mary's yes is not automatic. I think maybe some generations before really posed Mary that it had already happened to her, and Gabriel was just showing up to let her know what God was doing with her. I don't believe that is true at all. Mary completely has the opportunity to say, just not me, not right now, not in this season. And we also have that opportunity to say, not me, not right now, not in this season. So does our yes matter to God? Because I do believe that while we have the opportunity to say no, I don't believe that our no, when we respond that way in our faith, stops God's plans. God will find another way. Right? And yet, does our yes matter to God? It certainly mattered in Mary's life. That response of her saying yes to God unfolds a lifetime of her being at the forefront of the life and ministry of Jesus, her being present at the crucifixion, her being witness to the Easter resurrection, and how it would forever unfold in the power turning in this world. Or she could have just heard it from her neighbor Sue. Right? I mean, I think it would have happened, but I don't think she would have been at the forefront of witnessing the way that God can use us in the power and unfolding of this world. There's other scriptures that let us know that our yes matters. What about Esther? Did Esther's yes matter? Right? We hear the words of Queen Esther, for such a time as this, maybe you were placed and born to do this. And she said yes. What about Moses? Right? He's got this lisp and he wants to say no, but instead he says, well, here I am. Right? I guess if you've come, God, for me, then use me. But what about the rich young ruler who comes to Jesus and says, I've done all of these things. I have followed the way of the law my entire life. I've been faithful at every turn to the mission of the church. Is there something else to do to grow closer to the heart of God? And what does Jesus say? But to sell all that you have and to follow me. And the rich young ruler walks away heavy-hearted and sad. The scripture says, because he owned a lot. He said no. And I wonder what role he could have or might have played in the unfolding of the gospel had he said yes. I wonder one day in the eschaton, if I ever get a chance to talk to the rich young ruler, I'm kind of going to ask him, how much did you own? Are you still holding on to it? Do you still feel like you made the right choice? I bet you there'll be an unfolding of where he wishes his life could have gone with a yes to God. You see, the work continues, but the shape of it depends on our yes to God. And God desires to use us, each and every one of us. But saying yes does not have a guarantee of glory, right? I mean, even thinking about Mary's yes, right? Her yes changes her life in not just great ways, but really hard ways, in ways that outcast her from society until the rest of the world knows that she was telling the truth. There's a story that I want to tell you about, and this is hopefully some of you might know who this is, but he grew up a Methodist pastor's kid in Massillon, Ohio, and if I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize to all the Ohioans in the room. But Methodism was in his bones. He was a good old Methodist PK. And by high school, James Lawson had already begun saying no to injustice and saying yes to a different kind of world. He was really drawn to the social gospel of the Methodist Church. When the country was at war, Lawson, then a college student, refused the draft. Not because he was afraid, but because he believed that Jesus called him to a life of pacifism, and he could not take up a weapon against a neighbor. He believed the way of Christ was that of nonviolence, which ended up putting him in jail for a year. After his release, he finished college and he went to India as a missionary. He studied nonviolence through the lens of Gandhi's movement. He absorbed the strategies, the philosophy, and the courage that it would take to live out the Sermon on the Mount, not in personal piety, but as public resistance. When he returned to the U.S., he enrolled at Oberlin Seminary, and there he met a young minister by the name of Martin Luther King Jr., who told him, "We don't have anyone like you down south. Come, we need you." So in 1958, he said yes, moved to Nashville, and began teaching young black students how to resist evil without becoming it. How to face fists, dogs, water hoses, and humiliation without responding with violence. He trained people like John Lewis, Diane Nash, Bernard Lafayette, and James Bevel, not just in civil disobedience, but in what he called soul force. The power that comes when love meets conviction. Those students would go on to desegregate lunch counters, launch the freedom rides, and shape the moral conscience of our nation. And behind it all, quietly, faithfully, and unshakably, the Reverend Dr. James Lawson. He ended up getting kicked out of Vanderbilt Divinity School for his activism, and then was later in his elder years invited back as a distinguished professor. I love that part. You see, for Dr. Reverend Lawson, he saw Jesus not as a mascot for peace, but as a revolutionary love force that could undo empires and make people free. And I want to tell you something else. Reverend Dr. James Lawson is nobody special. He's you, and you, and you, and you, and me. He just happened to keep saying yes, and yes, and yes to every uncomfortable thing that this called him to do with his life. You see, it's one thing for us to hold this good book once a week and say, I believe. And it's a total other thing to let this book bother our imaginations about the world coming. And let it invite us and mold us and empower us to say yes to God over and over and over again. I hear the prayer a lot from my own voice. Jesus, when are you coming back? Because we got a lot of mess here. And each and every time I pray that prayer, I'm reminded Jesus is here in you and you and you and you and in me. If the church would respond to the call of God on our lives, the hope of the world would be revealed and is being revealed. Will we say yes? Let us pray. God, may we hear the invitation of the angels in our own lives. God, not always with clarity, but with courage. May we trust that you have already called us favored, already seen us, already chosen us, not for our perfection, God, but for our willingness. And when the holy interruptions come, may we have the faith of Mary, the resolve of Reverend Lawson, that we might also trust and say, here I am, let it be. Amen.